Truth is not truth. Even facts are being replaced by alternative facts. Lying has become just another tool in the charlatan's arsenal. The former president lied to us more than 30,000 times during his 4 years in office, and he's keeping up the pace in his current campaign of retribution.
Robert De Niro is a mental midget whose mind is shot and whose life is a total train wreck. Very much like crooked Joe Biden, he can't put two sentences together. And writes again, Robert De Niro, whose acting talents have greatly diminished with his reputation now shot, must even use a teleprompter for his foul and disgusting language. So disrespectful to our country.
A lot of criticism of you. Fuck him. Okay, well, you know, this is cable.
Sorry.
Uh-oh, seems like De Niro struck a nerve. Nothing says you're a free speech-loving anti-PC warrior than a Monday meltdown a week after someone called out your insatiable allergy to the truth. As you may have seen over the weekend, I did a wee video celebrating the great Robert De Niro as he denied attempts to censor his free speech during an award ceremony. Unwilling to have his speech altered, he brought out the original and read it verbatim.
The beginning of my speech was edited, cut out. I didn't know about it. And I want to read it. Truth is not truth. Even facts are being replaced by alternative facts and driven by conspiracy theories and ugliness. In Florida, young students are taught that slaves develop skills which could be applied for their personal benefit. Lying has become just another tool in the charlatan's arsenal. The former president lied to us more than 30,000 times during his 4 years in office, and he's keeping up the pace in his current campaign of retribution. But with all his lies, he can't hide his soul. Damn! He attacks the weak, destroys the gifts of nature, and shows disrespect, for example, by using Pocahontas as a slur. Filmmakers, on the other hand, strive, and this is where I came in and I saw that they edited all that. So I'm going to say these things, but to Apple and thank them and all that, Gotham, blah, 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 Apple, but I don't feel like thanking them at all.
But it seems this speech finally made its way to Mar-a-Lago and under the wafer-thin skin of the former president as he journeyed down that familiar rabbit hole of projection. And he brought out all the classics, you know, personal attacks, ad hominem, disrespecting the country, etc.
Speaking his mind about Donald Trump, I agree with what Robert De Niro said. But again, Donald Trump has to attack Robert De Niro with name calling, and he goes, Robert De Niro is a mental midget whose mind is shot and whose life is a total train wreck. Very much like crooked Joe Biden, he can't put two sentences together. The good news is that this crude and very stupid animal has lost all credibility. It's again, Robert De Niro, whose acting talents have greatly diminished with his reputation now shot, must even use a teleprompter for his foul and disgusting language. So disrespectful to our country, he has become unwatchable both in movies and with fools that destroyed the Academy Awards, bringing them from one of the top shows in the country to a low-rated afterthought. De Niro should focus on his life, which is a mess, rather than the lives of others. He has become a total loser as the world watches, waits, and laughs.
Now, while we know this to be true, it's clear the Oscar winner, and if you've seen Killers of the Flower Moon, you'll know he's soon to be multi-time nominated actor, is reclining rent-free in Donnie's head. Can we just spend a second focusing on the last part of Trump's meltdown projection? Part where the man who still thinks he's running against Obama and that Jeb Bush led us into Iraq.
Barack Hussein Obama. Hussein Obama. Here you go, Barack Hussein Obama.
Brian, it's all coming through Iran, and Obama he doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to he doesn't even mention them in his statements. It's all coming through Iran.
Well, you mean President Biden. So,
it's less than 4 months before the season starts. We start in Iowa, we go to New Hampshire, we come down here. You know, the beauty was when I came here, everyone thought Bush was going to win. And then they took a poll and they found out Trump was up by about 50 points. Everyone said, what's going on right here? They thought Bush, because Bush supposedly was a military person. Great. You know what? He was a military. He got us into the Middle East. How did that work out, right? But they all thought that Bush might win. Jeb. Remember Jeb?
Makes fun of someone else for their inability to string a sentence together.
Colleges and universities will purge the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism what you're doing. And a very big hello to a place where we've done very well, Sioux Falls. Thank you very much, Sioux Falls. And thank you. So Sioux City. I know the players. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the weak ones. You know, there's a very powerful player, Viktor Orban. Did anybody ever hear of Viktor Orban? He's the head of Hungary. Hungary fronts on both Ukraine and Russia.
Come on, mate. Let's not launch ketchup bottles in glass houses. And lastly, the response from the MAGA faithful have me sounding like a broken record. Diminishing someone's opinion as null and void because they're, quote, an out-of-touch Hollywood elitist while hanging on to every word of a former reality star billionaire who sends tweets from a golden toilet is not the argument you think it is.
I have his phone number in my phone book. He was the guy that came to the bars and asked me about which cocktail waitress was single. You know, that's who he was.
This is back in the 90s.
Not that long, no, back in the 2000s, quite honestly. And so there's this part of you that just goes, well, that guy shouldn't be president. But I was wrong, and he was. And our democracy, I believe, paid a price, certainly around the world. He was just this knucklehead. I knew him before he was, a president. He was just a guy who was chasing girls. You know, every time he went out, he'd come over and be like, what's the name of that girl? You know, that's all he was. And the idea that there's this whole group of people that, you know, that they think he's the champion of, which he certainly can't stand in real life. But, you know, he's gonna play this out for a while.
The party of Ronald Reagan and The Apprentice host is not the blue-collar beacon you think it is.
A lot of criticism of you. Fuck him. Okay, well, you know, this is cable.
Sorry. This guy should not be president, period. We are at a moment in our life, in this country, where this guy is like a gangster. He's come along and he's said things, done things we say over and over again. This is terrible. We're in a terrible situation. We're in a terrible situation. And this guy just keeps going on and on and on. The day after he was elected, I said, well, you know, give him a chance. You never know, you'll see. But he's worse than I ever could have imagined.
Hey, Midas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram, @MeidasTouch, to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.